Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video. Today we're gonna be working on the 6.0 that I had started back in February. I've got it hanging right now, hanging off the cherry picker. I took all the bolts off of this backing plate. We're gonna be replacing that rear main seal. But it's a fresh morning, fresh day, and I'm just gonna get started trying to put the bottom end of this motor together. I know some of you probably watched that video and thought, when's the next one going to come out? When you're going to get back to it? What's the update? And so in the next few videos, I'm going to be working on not just this motor, but the actual project, the 96 Chevy shortbed OBS. It's sitting way back there. I still haven't pulled it up here, but I'm not exactly ready for it yet. But yeah, we're gonna try to get this motor put together in this video. Just get it put together, get it ready, set it aside, get working on the truck. But the main focus today's video is gonna be the motor, just getting it assembled and ready to install. All right, guys. So I got this cover pulled off. I'm about to remove this seal. Before I get started, though, I'm gonna get to cleaning all this up. There's that old gasket. Let's get that pulled off. I've got a new one right here. The other piece that we're gonna remove is this right here. I believe it's called a barbell plug. That right there, with an aluminum one. This is the one that I ordered. This is these parts that I got, they're from Summit, but there's the part number 25030, oil galley diverter. So let me set you up on the tripod so I can knock this seal out. I don't have the tool to install it. There's a tool. I should have done my research about this sooner, but there are other videos that you can check out, on how to install it. And there's the option of buying this plate as well, this backing plate with the seal already installed. That way, you don't have no issues of a oil leak, So yeah, let me set you up on the tripod, and I'll get started knocking this out and trying to put in the new one. All right, guys. So there's these 3 notches here that help remove this old seal. Like I said, there's a tool, an installer that is exactly this size and actually fits over the crank, the back of the crank, to line it up perfectly. That way you don't have any leaks down the road. There it is. All right, guys, I ran this through the parts washer. Doesn't look like brand new, but it's a lot cleaner than what it was. Here's the new piece. This is the new seal. Videos that I've seen, a lot of times the guys will just kind of tap them into place. They leave this in there. The other thing was, I guess on some of these it tells you which way goes out. But I mean, you can always reference off the one that you took out. So, but yeah, this stays in there. Okay, so I guess naturally the way I was looking at mine, the other one, this lip faces down. It's got like a flat surface here. That faces up. And they also said not to use any sort of oil. So let's give this a try. This is the first time that I'm doing this myself, so I'm definitely not a pro at doing this. Okay guys, I got this seal driven in. I did have a question of my own, so I Google searched it, and that was whether you drive this seal flush with the surface or if you drive it all the way in, because flush with the surface left a little bit of a gap on the inside here. So Google search told me drive it all the way in, not flush with the surface. So if you don't have the tool, this is what I used. It's a PVC clean out cap. Yes, I know it looks a little dirty. That's not what I used. It was this surface here. I set it on there and just tried to drive it in there all the way around. It's a 4-inch. Anyhow, like I say, that's what I use. I'm not gonna tell you to use it. That's, you know, completely up to you. But it did work. It drove it in evenly. So now here I've got the gasket. Probably in the previous clip, I don't know if anybody noticed, I had the timing cover gasket. I had to go back inside and grab the right one. So I'm just gonna set this right here, and let me take off the tripod. So before I install this little oil galley, forget what it was called, diverter, I think. Anyhow, I'm using this little tool here to just pry out this other one. Let me get it out right quick, and then I'll show you the new one. All right, guys. So before I pull out that old one, I got it loose. I got it broke loose, and it's able to pull in and out. Like I said, I just use this pick tool, kind of try to get behind it, and then pry. It's a plastic piece I'm not going to reuse, so you know, if I do a little damage to it, it's not a big deal. But here's the new plug. So it's got 2 grooves, 2 O-rings. I'll just slip these on there. There's the first one. There's the second one. Here in a sec, I'll put some oil on these O-rings before I slip it in. But this will go in first into the engine. Yeah, let me take you off this tripod. So here's that oil galley plug or diverter. So this one came out. It looks a little different. But like I say, for whatever reason, people always say to replace these with the aluminum one. Now it is the same length, so it's not as if, even though this one's a different shape. Look at this cat. Get out of here. Go. Go. Last thing I need is hair on all these parts. She probably just wants some attention. Hang on, guys. Let me get this cat out of here. All right, so got a little bit of 530 weight. And yeah, I'm just going to put some oil on these rings. Like I said, this will be, it'll insert just like that. All right, guys. So it took a little bit to get that one in there. I had to tap it a little bit with the hammer. I did put something over the edge of the face of this, but I had to drive it in a little bit with the hammer. So I don't know if anybody else has ever had that issue, or maybe do they make these in different sizes? It wasn't hard to get in. It took some, like I said, a little bit of tapping to get it in there. But all right, so the next order of business is to put this cover on, and yeah, let me set y'all up. Let me see. Yeah, I can set you up on the tripod. I need to invest in a smaller tripod. This thing is, I got this big one here, and I do have a small one, but it's one for phones, to record off with your phone. So like I said, anyway, I need to invest in a smaller one that I can put like on a desktop. So yeah, let me set y'all up, and let me get this started. See if I can get this lined up correctly. All right, so I've got 4 bolts holding this gasket in. Here we go. Now, as far as any sort of RTV, I'm not gonna put any yet, just because I don't have the oil pan installed yet. Once I get the oil pan installed, then I'll put some down in these corners. But for now, I'm just gonna drive these in and try to drive them in evenly. May need to put one over here to drive it in a little bit better. There she is again. She just wants to be right around me. Anyway, I got these bolts. They're not torqued or anything. They're just kind of a little bit snug on there for now, because I know that you need to align the plate with the block. So whenever I get to the oil pan, doing the gasket and doing all of that work, like I said, oil pan, the front cover, everything, I'll have to align it with the straight edge. So once I do that, I'll put the RTV where it needs to go, and as well as torquing all these bolts. So on to the next. Okay, so I did leave for a couple of hours. I went to Harbor Freight, went and bought this bearing separator and puller set, and I went to O'Reilly's to get the timing gear set. That'll be the next component to put on. I did install the camshaft. It's just a stock camshaft. Went ahead and put that in. So yeah, the next thing is removing that sprocket, and then after that will be this camshaft cover plate. All right, so putting on the new gear, you just set this in there. It's got that keyway. Line that up with the keyway. Just like that. Your old one, you can just flip it. Use your bolt, your old crank bolt, and then just that'll be the what presses it on. So I am using a pipe wrench, but I'm putting it on the old sprocket just to hold the crank from turning. And of course it'll stop. You'll know when it sits flush. Yeah, there it is. Alright guys, so in this clip I lost the audio, but basically what I was saying was that when you mount your oil pump, you have to center that gear. And what I've seen is, the videos that I've seen is that you use a feeler gauge, 2000s. It's basically like paper thin, but if you've got two of them, each 2000s, one for the top, one for the bottom, you can center it up and snug up your bolts. I only had one, so I used it for the bottom, snugged up the bolts, and then afterwards I checked it, top and bottom. All right guys, it's the next day, and I did do some cleaning up this morning on the timing cover. Just some scrubbing in the parts washer, timing cover, battery cover, oil pan inside and out. And I also did the windage tray, as you saw me install in the last clip. So like I said, I just ran these through the parts washer, scrubbed them best I could. And right now I'm going to install a new seal for the timing cover. After that, we'll go ahead and install the pickup tube. Sorry about that. There's the pickup tube. I wanted to make note is in these packages, these gasket packages, they come with 2 different seals. And in the instructions, it does it tells you to take note of what color the old ring was, where in my case it was originally an orange color. So with the orange, you install the green. If it was a blue seal that you had, if it left like a blue residue, then you'll use the black one. Like I said, these are per the instructions that I received, which here they are, O-ring instructions. But like I say, just be sure before you install this to install the right O-ring. So, all right, I'm going to install this. I'm just going to use a block of wood and tap it in. All right, guys, so we're halfway there. Got the short block assembled. Next up will be the heads. Heads. Right now I've got the valley plate installed, but it's not. I've got it sitting on. I don't have it installed. What's missing on this is actually the those little boots that go in here for the knock sensors. These are the old ones that I knocked out, but I'm waiting on the new ones to come in. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know if there's something that I missed on the, on the reassembly of the short block. I was going off of videos that I had watched, you know, throughout these last few days, just kind of everything that I put on, from the timing cover, the timing chain, oil pump, the rear main seal, oil pan. I mean, everything, you know, this being really, truly the first LS that I'm putting together, I need, you know, any help that you guys can offer me, I'll take it, you know. And so that's why, like I said, I've been watching videos, just trying to get things right. This is just kind of like an overhaul, not so much of a complete rebuild of, you know, tearing it completely down. That's why I didn't take out the pistons. I did clean them up, but like I said, I'm just cleaning it, putting new gaskets, and the important things like the timing chain, oil pump, rear main seal, just trying to seal it up, you know, get it ready for this project. So like I said, I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate everybody that's been watching, tuning in and subscribing, giving me likes. There's a couple of videos in particular that I put out that have just been, you know, getting views, getting likes. I appreciate you guys pushing that like button. Continue to do so. It helps me out, as well as subscribing. If you haven't already, consider doing so. Trying to grow my channel, and trying to just, you know, stay on the ball, putting out content. You know, I'm gonna try, with this being a project, I should be able to put a video out weekly. I'm gonna do my best to do so, so you guys can see the buildup of the 6.0, the installation of the 6.0, plumbing, you know, fuel system, transmission lines, everything that it needs. Just gonna try to get this going, probably, I'm hoping, in the next couple of weeks. It's crazy to see other guys, of course they have more experience, but talking about, you know, it took them a week to do an LS swapping. So anyway, enough talk. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.